The formal opening of the BVI Hong Kong office took place on Thursday, September 5th. Premier and Minister for Finance and Tourism, Dr. Orlando Smith, has said the BVI Asia office would mirror similar activities of the BVI London office, but with a specific focus on financial services, promoting BVI business brand, including tourism and new international investment opportunities. The Premier fielded questions during an interview in Hong Kong with host Susan Lee of Bloomberg television program First Up, where he maintained that the BVI is not a tax haven.
Well, Premier, let me ask you this. How do you feel about the image of the British Virgin Islands as a tax haven, basically where companies go to escape taxes, paying taxes in their own countries?
The BVI is not a tax haven. The BVI is a financial services jurisdiction, an important member of the international financial services sector.
But you have low taxes in the BVI,
taxes, yes.
Right? And so if a company incorporates in the BVI, they don't have to pay 35–40% corporate taxes at home.
No, if a company incorporates in the BVI, they don't have to pay taxes in the BVI, but they're expected to pay taxes in the jurisdiction in which they're dealing, whether it is home or in the other jurisdiction which they're working in.
Okay, well, Dr. Orlando Smith, Apple, I believe, has an incorporation where you are. They own businesses in the BVI, which help them escape some of their big tax bills. Is that correct?
Apple, like many other corporations, many other companies, have also won a business company in the BVI. This company is used by Apple and as other companies to do transnational business.
Right, so Apple is incorporated there, yeah.
And with Apple as a bigger business company which incorporates in the BVI, they're expected to pay the taxes that are due in the countries in which they operate.
Yeah, well, because of I guess their association with the BVI, they lowered their tax rate to 9.8%, which was hugely controversial. But Asian businesses are doing the same, aren't they? I mean, I believe from what I see, 40% of financial business comes from Asia.
Exactly. And the reality is that most countries would offer competitive tax rates, whether it's BVI, whether it's the United Kingdom, whether it's Asia. And these the IBC, the companies from the British Virgin Islands, operate within the laws of the countries.
The Premier said the BVI has over 450,000 companies, and 40% of that figure comes from the Asian market. He said the BVI believes in transparency and dismissed claims that the BVI is trying to avoid pressure from the U.S. Internal Revenue Service, the IRS, by seeking to establish the Hong Kong office.
People looking at, for instance, the Cayman Islands, and then, Switzerland has been attacked as of late by the IRS, looking, to get information on, some would say, tax evaders. Has that been the case with the BVI? Are you still negotiating with the IRS to get this agreement?
What the BVI believes, that we believe in transparency. We've been at the forefront of regulation of the financial services industry to make sure that we are utterly transparent. It is true that if any country needs to get information about any business which is set up in the BVI, once it's legitimate, they ask a question and they can get the answers.
Yeah, okay, so what about these tax talks with the U.S. and the IRS? When do you think you might reach a conclusion?
We've already begun those talks. We're in negotiation now with the United States, and we hope to be able to reach that conclusion within the next few months.
Yeah, but okay, is it fair, Premier, to say that maybe you're opening up an office here in Asia because, okay, there is growing wealth in this region, but also because of the dealings with the IRS, and they're clamping down right now, they want their tax money, that maybe it's smarter to get out here where there are lower taxes to begin with, and governments aren't, I guess, as vigilant when it comes to seeking taxpayers?
No, I think we are an international financial center that works in all areas of the world, and we respect the taxation regimes in most countries in the world. And so we are corresponding or cooperating with the United States as far as the requirements. We're also cooperating with Europe and other countries as far as the requirements. We, for example, signed more than 23 tax information exchange agreements, which is one of the requirements. We also joined the multilateral pilot 5 with the European Union. And we also committed to the multilateral convention. So we are really meeting all the standards.
Okay.
When we examine on a regular basis by the standard setters, the OECD, the WHO, the FATF, we have met and surpassed all the requirements.
Bloomberg Television, an American-based international cable and satellite business news television channel owned by Bloomberg LP with headquarters in New York City, London and Hong Kong, has an estimated global audience of over 300 million viewers. At the August 30th press conference, Premier Smith, in response to questions on the Hong Kong office, said a Virgin Islander will serve as the director for the Hong Kong office and is expected to take up office shortly, but he did not reveal the name of that individual. Also responding to the cost of operating the Hong Kong office, Premier said that figure was not available at the time. However, he said the Hong Kong office would mirror the BVI London office, which costs some $800,000 to operate annually.
As far as the office is concerned in Hong Kong, we have not yet completed the selection of the person. We have a shortlist, but as soon as we have really identified that person, we have several persons looking at, then we'll be able to tell you. I know that the London office, for example, the run that office costs around about $800,000 per year. And I'm sure that eventually the run of the Hong Kong offices will probably be in the same range.
Lorna Smith is the interim operations manager of the Hong Kong office. The Dr. Smith-led BVI delegation to Hong Kong includes Representative for the 2nd District, Alvin Christopher, Permanent Secretary in the Premier's office, Rosalie Adams, and representatives of the Financial Services Commission.